Big news from SonarWorks SoundID reference. They've just released a virtual monitoring add-on that you can upgrade to, and it allows you to finally hop inside of a studio environment within the software. Up until now, SoundID has had great referencing for the car, phone, laptop, and TV speakers, but now with this add-on, they've gone all in on studio referencing. And friend, take note that there is a 21-day trial version available for the add-on, which I find is really nice because it's like going to a store and getting to try on the clothes before you take them home. Hey friend, I'm Alex from Audio Edges, and I've tried on this new virtual monitoring add-on from SoundID myself, and so far I like it a lot. So I'm going to take you with me inside and show you how it works. Okay, so I've opened up a session and I've got a master fader, and on my master I put SoundID reference. Now you can already see how exciting this is, seeing this virtual monitoring enabled, but before we start that, I'm going to disable it and say first thing is that in order to enable this part of the software, you're going to have to be on one of your headphones. So I can't be on my speakers because you can see obviously the option to use the virtual monitoring doesn't appear here. So that's actually somewhere I got stuck. At first I was like, well, where is it? You have to go to one of your headphone profiles. Then it'll be enabled. So I have a couple different headphone options here, and then every time it's right there in the right corner, you just go to enabled, right? And what happens is the headphone curve, right? The calibration curve for the particular headphones that you choose. And if you're using a pair of headphones, I virtually guarantee you SonarWorks has found it, and it is in your calibration curve is already in here. So you just search up your headphones, apply the calibration curve, and then on top of that calibration curve is where this studio referencing gets applied. Okay, so that's really cool. Now here is what the GUI looks like. It's really clean, really tidy, really easy to understand. And you have 3 sets of speakers: near field, mid field, and far field. But before I get to that, what I really like about virtual monitoring is that when you're using headphones, typically if you mix in headphones without some type of virtual monitoring, if you pan something all the way left, it's going to be only heard in your left ear. If you pan something all the way right, it's going to be only heard in your right ear. But when you're in a studio environment, that's not really how the studio is. When you're playing something out of speakers, you're going to hear sound coming from the right. You're still going to hear a little bit in your left ear, because that's the way the room is. You know, the sound moves around, you catch it in both ears. So let's look at that with this guitar. Okay, first I'll disable the monitoring, right? Okay, that's panned fully left. Now if I enable the monitoring, okay, you'll hear that it was situated in a way that while it's panned left, you're still getting that room sound in your right ear as well. And then you could hear when I disabled it, it's flipping it back off. All right. So that goes same when I pan it right. And when it's in the middle, obviously it's in both ears. Okay. So that's something that's really cool about this virtual monitoring. Now keep in mind, my AKG K240 curve is being applied here. So if you have these headphones, great. If not, you understand why it maybe sounds a little different on whatever you're listening on. I recommend a pair of headphones for this. Okay. Now let's look at the speaker options. And for this, I'm going to show you a song called That's Not What I Wanted. This is by an artist named Luke Prov. He's awesome, so go check out the song. But let me disable the calibration just so you can hear the song as it is. That's not what I wanted, that's just what I needed. I didn't really need it, I don't want it at all. How can I move forward? All right, so this is a mix that I did, and so of course I've been curious to hear it in these speakers, and let's have a look at the options. So there's near field, and with near field speakers, these are going to be your go-to for getting really up close and personal with your music. So they're going to give you that super intimate, direct sound, and it's going to really highlight all the tiny details, especially in the mid-range. So it's really good for tweaking individual tracks, and these near field monitors are great at like mimicking old desktop consumer speakers as well. So let's have a listen to what it sounds like on these. That's not what I wanted, that's just what I needed. I didn't really need it, I don't want it at all. All right, and let's go back to without. That's not. So you can hear how it pulls the mix into the middle because the speakers are more towards the middle of the console here, and the sound gets super mid-rangey, all right? So these are really great for referencing, but let's have a look at the next one, which is the midfield. When it comes to midfield monitors, I feel that these are kind of like the Goldilocks speakers, and what I mean by that is they're sitting right nicely in the middle because they offer a richer and fuller sound than the near fields, and it's you really just get the best of both worlds because you get that detail from the mid-range environment, but you're also getting some depth that those near fields aren't going to give you. And by depth, I mean like you can hear the space or the environment that you're building the mix in kind of in the speaker. And that's really nice. And I'll usually end up listening in this midfield monitor zone more often because I find it translates really well when I mix in the zone, and I just like how the way it sounds. So let's compare this same mix now on the midfield option. That's not what I wanted, that's just what I needed. I didn't really need it, I don't want it at all. Back to near field. These weren't the doctor's orders, a superficial sentence has no meaning at all. I've been trying. All right, so with the midfield, you can feel a little more thump in the kick. Things are just filling out a little bit. You hear the mix gets a little wider. And now finally, we've got, the big ones. We say the big ones for last, and these are the far field. So with the far field, the first thing you'll notice is that there's a fuller bass response, and that's because they're going to feel a bit more full and big sounding and a bit more boomy because they're covering basically the whole frequency spectrum. It's like getting a big picture view of your whole mix when you're using these far fields. So it's great for checking how your mix is going to sound on bigger systems. And let's show you how the mix sounds on these. That's not what I wanted, that's just what I needed. I didn't really need it, I don't want it at all. Switch to near field. Doctor's orders, a superficial sentence has no meaning at all. I've been trying to fight this feeling, why can't... All right, so you can really get that full effect of them when I show you back and forth between the near field, midfield, and the far field. And so that's what's so great about this is you can literally just switch like a speaker selection through your A, B, and C pair. So as you can tell, listening in this virtual monitoring environment, it's really giving a new perspective of the mix. And I'm really liking how the mix is sounding in each of these. So that's good news for my mix of this song, which again is called That's Not What I Wanted by Luke Prov. And one other thing that I really like about this virtual monitoring is that it takes into consideration the headphone model you're using. So unlike some other options out there where you have to use a particular set of headphones, for this, you can instantly get into this studio referencing environment with whichever headphones you have. So for example, I'm currently using the AKG K240 Mark IIs, but another pair of headphones I have in my studio are these from Direct Sound, right? And so what I can do is literally switch to the direct sound profile that I have. And of course, the calibration curve looks a little bit differently. These are typically tracking headphones, but just for the example, and then I can apply the virtual monitoring here. And it takes into consideration the sound of these headphones and then adds the virtual monitoring studio on top. So with all that in mind, if you already have SoundID reference and you're looking at different virtual monitoring options, this add-on does make sense because it's affordable and easy to add to your existing setup, and the virtual studio is going to be flexible between different sets of headphones. I've always enjoyed SoundID reference. I've taken their headphone software with me on the road. I've used it to calibrate the monitors here in my studio, but this time they're really leveling up. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with where this is headed, and I might even be curious to see if they add some other studios in time as well. Remember, there is a trial version available, so you can go try it out for yourself right now and let me know what you think in the comments. And my friend, as a gift for sticking around, I'd like to give you my free ultimate home studio setup guide, which is an entire roadmap about everything you need to know when you're setting up your home studio. It's absolutely free. The link is in the description, so go grab that now. And as always, happy mixing. Hey friend, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to this channel. I don't make these videos for me, I make them for you, and I guarantee you the content I have coming up soon is something you will not want to miss. I'm beyond excited to have you here, and I'll see you in the next video.